hydroponics are very cheap. It's water, it's nutrients, it's plants. So it can be scalable and replicable on a very like low cost way.
Which is great news, because now it means that even if you live in the city and maybe you don't really have like a huge plot of land, that there's actually something that you can do with the space that you do have. And I think a lot of Filipino Americans who live out here, who might not necessarily have family in the provinces, but maybe have, a tito, tita, lola, lola in the big cities who might actually have a smaller property, can actually begin this and kind of dip their hands into agriculture. And, I think you're right, Fiona, you talk so much, you kind of touched on how it does feel like it's an old school industry, the technology is old school. But as a matter of fact, we're seeing that more and more younger Filipino Americans, millennials, even Gen Zs, are really trying to look back to agriculture and see how they can get into this business. And I think it's pretty fascinating. The last thing that I wanted to just kind of go around, I know we're kind of hitting the time, we're about to hit the hour, but I wanted to know, with all of the challenges, right? All the great feedback, all the marketing and the capital that has to go in this, the blood, sweat, and tears. What is it that keeps you going? What are some of the benefits? I mean, we're trying to encourage more people to get into this business. Maybe let's start with James. What benefits do you get out of this?
For me, being more of an advocate, actually what I was going to say earlier was that one of the challenges is really getting the youth more involved, especially here in the Philippines, because it is something that, we're talking about food here. Like, this is never going to go like out of style or not be relevant ever. Like this is food. And so it's really getting people to get back into it and to innovate. There's room to innovate. And for me, it's more of like a necessity more than, kind of like a benefit. And this is where we saw a lot of the problem, or at least in my experience, that's where most of the problem was. So we've been moving more into hydroponics and urban agriculture. There's the Hydro Hub, which I think Fiona can go more into, and also a Reterra, which was a design competition we did. And its aim was really to bring together architects, designers, city planners, so that we could find a way to integrate agriculture into the urban setting, make the cities a bit more greener, give everyone more access to just healthy, fresh food. That was really kind of, what was really important to me.
That sounds great. And so if there's not necessarily a particular province in the Philippines that you feel connected to, may I ask, what is your favorite Filipino food?
My favorite Filipino food of all time has to be sinigang. Yes, I've stuck by that, my whole time here. Sinigang is my favorite, absolute favorite.
Great choice. How about you, Fiona? Quick intro. Which province and food product do you feel most connected to?
So I actually come from a line of farmers. So my mom's family, they've been farming forever. And so we have a few farms in Pampanga and we grow mangoes. So I would say mangoes is the Filipino food product I'm most connected to, especially dried mangoes.
I love it. The best in the world, right?
Yeah.
Tita Pearl, how about you?
Okay. I came from Palawan. My grandfather founded the Culion leper colony, but my favorite town, my husband's town, is Quezon. That's where I started my Ubi Federation, which I'm so proud. And my favorite food is also sinigang, fish sinigang.
I love it. Actually, for those of you who don't know, Tita Pearl out here in America is actually a legendary icon. She was the first person to bring Mamacita's products into the US, which really began, I want to say, the distribution.
That's more how I see it.
Thank you. Love that. Fiona, how about you? What keeps you going?
The people involved. Farming is was a family business for me, but it's become more than family. It's become a sense of duty for my countrymen. So that's what keeps me going.
I love that. And there are also a ton of questions that have come in. We're not going to be able to cover everything, but I do want to read one. This question is for James from Aubrielle Isla. Her question is, what are your plans this year as Ambassador of Agriculture? Are there any focuses on any programming? Is there anything that you can share?
Definitely more to spread awareness, and I guess through creating content, which is something that, you know, a generation now, that's the way that they interact the most, is through content. And one of the big things we've been working on and planning for was supposed to be this year, but then because of, you know, quarantine and everything, things got slowed down. But it was really to do a kind of like an agriculture series called Food for the Soul, which would be basically us traveling around the Philippines, visiting different farms, you know, kind of taking a look at the food supply chain, all the different things that are being farmed and all the different processes, just so that the people, like especially the youth, can see what's actually happening, you know, and then they can see it in like a, you know, a fun way, and you know, hopefully want to get more involved.
Wonderful.
So that's something we're working on.
Yeah.
Thanks, James.
And of course, I would love to work. You know, me and Fiona would love to work with everyone, not just here on this panel, but you know, with all the farmers and everyone who's you know, doing amazing things in the agriculture industry.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds great. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I wish we could have a much longer discussion, but it looks like we're already past the hour. Magandang gabi.